on 8 again, and this is Benjamin Zulu Show. My name is Willie Kinyash, and I want to welcome you to this lovely show. Yes, and I want to talk about long distance relationships. But how can we rule out long distance marriage while we are dating? The coach is ready to take us through this topic. Yes, sir.
And you know, a long distance becomes a trap. Because if you're marrying for companionship, companionship needs closeness.
Yeah.
Companionship needs closeness. Distance removes closeness. At least the physical closeness. Sometimes you can try to maintain emotional, mental closeness through communication and through exchange, even when you are far. But let's start by laying several foundations. Some jobs will take you far away without notice. There's this thing they were calling delocalization in TSC, among teachers and being transferred. I don't know whether they were considering couples. Because you'd hear people being sent so far apart, so that it's like the family is being torn apart. These people are being so inconvenienced, it will be so expensive to keep traveling back and forth to be together. And I hope the government policy is moving towards giving people that option.
Actually, DP talked about that, and he said they are working on that.
Because it was very unfair. Many of us suffered the absence of a parent. Why are we doing it on other children? Not all couples want to be close. I'll come to tell you how it is an asylum for dysfunction. They should make it possible for people to opt to be in the same sub-county, for example. Because some counties are so big, it will still be a very long distance. Even if people can't be in the same school, and many of them will not desire the same school, but can they be put in such a way that they can live in the same town, the same place, and it is reasonably affordable to commute? Schools that are within certain kilometer radius, for example. So that if you send them, you are sending them within this kind of zone, and with intention, that's doable. With intention, that's doable. It's not impossible. We just need to know that these people have requested, so that you are feeling, you're saying this, and you, this person, you provide proof that you're married or something like that. And I hope even now customary marriages should be registered by this certificate. When you're married, you always marry in a ceremony. When people, I don't know why people can't answer the question whether they are officially married. When you ask them, are you officially married? They say, So I usually go to other things to bring that clarity, because they are confusing one segment, yet the other one, they're very clear. I ask them, do you own anything? A house, a car, a plot? And whatever they own, I say, I have a plot and is it officially yours? Yeah, of course, I paid, I got the paper.
I have the title deed.
So again, let's go to the other place.
Yes.
Is that marriage officially yours? And you're already investing life, You're already investing children,
Yes.
You're already investing money, investing socially. Is it officially yours? Do you see?
Could it be maybe they get confused because they don't have the papers, they don't have the documents?
Would they say they officially have the plot when they don't have a document? When it's not on paper, it's vapor. We know that. When it comes to property, we want the paper.
If you come and I tell you I have certificate, you're like, no.
Let me tell you the truth. We are very keen. We are very keen when it's money. And yet when it is life,
we are joking around.
No, we visited parents.
They gave us blessings.
Don't tell me what happened. Was that ceremony meant to get you married? I don't care about where you hold the ceremony. There's attorney general or customary or church. When you say officially, some people just think wedding. No, I'm talking about marriage ceremony. Okay. Where the contract was officially entered, so that from now on, this is your husband. From now on, this is my wife. Have you ever done that? So why are we discussing a person who is not even officially taken up, being your husband, being your wife? Why are we talking about them here? You wouldn't tell me about a person who has thought of selling you cars and now they're giving. They have only expressed intention. They've only eaten your money, maybe. But there's no. My brother, when it comes to marriage, distance becomes a trap because it cancels the essence of togetherness. togetherness. I want you to know that. It challenges the very essence of becoming one. From the beginning, the idea of marriage was to become one. People have tried to use marriage as a hiding place to avoid carrying their financial weight.
Yeah, there's someone who is coming in, we can share responsibilities.
You know, some people have gone to marriage for career. They needed to be married to get elected to political position or to some corporate position or some. They wanted the nomination and they needed to look married.
Yeah, they wanted to travel.
Other the people who even being married, like in the West, it has some tax exemptions, and that will be a motivation to just
Yes.
you know. During the Holocaust or Second World War, some people get married to some Jews to save them. So some people marry to save, to rescue this. But so they would marry here, fly with you, divorce you, when they get there, now you are free. And that became, at that time it was justified because of the situation. Maybe it was a very humane act to save lives. But today we still have people who marry for every other reason except companionship. Let's start by removing them out of the way. Because they do want closeness, they will avoid closeness. And if they are agreed mentally, you will never hear the conflict. If they are both agreed that, just for the children. That's what they call polyamory, open marriage, those kind of things. It's not a marriage. It's social prop. It's a social cover to appear normal. We want to talk about when you are being deceived or when you're being ignorant during dating, and because you are living together that time, you're in the same town, you don't hear the challenge of distance, you never discuss it. Listen to my brother. There are some things in marriage you need to, before you get married, put a constitution or at least a set of agreement or a set of understanding and mindset that gives context to your union. Unions are not the same in terms of context. The safeguard and the parameters within which unions exist vary from here to Timbuktu. You hear people who are married and one is in America, one is in Kenya. They don't even meet often. The context of their union is very different. It's okay if they themselves, that's what works for them. But you need an understanding. If you're marrying, one thing my philosophy was, is here marrying for us to support each other day by day, not even weekends. Day by
day.
I struggled with cooking things in the house. Why should I continue struggling? Can I now release my energy to the things that I want to hit with that? The only way you become more productive as couples is when you specialize duties and picked cooking, because of, in my case, that's not my favorite. And designing clothes, that's not my favorite. But I know men who will love cooking, I'm just saying, when you come together and you're living together physically, you divide duties so that each of you is having it lighter. They can do better at the things they're good at. Okay? They are released to focus on what they're already good at. The other person takes up what they are good at. I hate paperwork. My wife loves paperwork. She do it for fun, to pass time.
Wow.
So she would apply green cards and scholarship when she's bored. So she would get scholarships. And she's not serious with them. Some were even fully sponsored. I've never filled a green card. The paperwork is just sickening. You know, I go to the bank, you affiliate.
It's too much.
Because it looks boring, and my personality hates that part. You know, even signing, and you are signing for place. I mean, can't you sign one place?
Yeah.
But because she's very good at that, she's the one dispatching the books, keeping the receipts, tracking the deliveries, checking the other. She may have a team, but she can oversee that, knowing where is the hitch likely to happen when you send this, do this. She knows the nitty-gritties of there. So I've been released from the logistics of dispatching books to writing the book, because that's where my strength is.
Yeah.
You know,
it's powerful.
I innovate the content. Then we have somebody curating it, putting together. We have somebody marketing it. If we come from A to Z with specialization, if I can innovate, put the material and decide how to group it, which title to give it, how to take. And then somebody's here handling hunting, she's gathering. That's the only way we grow.
Yeah.
If you're hunting and the thing is scattering here because there's nobody's gathering, you won't grow. There's no, actually net effect is zero. Your effort is being wasted.
Yeah.
Remember I told you the other day that you can part with your supporter and you collapse even when you're still strong. You can part ways with the person who used to support you. And you start collapsing even when you're still strong. Because strong people, they're not strong everywhere. They needed support where they're not strong. Support doesn't mean they are lesser than me. Many times you find that here she's the one in charge. Sometimes we as men, you are just going home to collapse on a sofa and catch a breath. You don't have energy to deliver duties anymore. There should be somebody to handle the money. You can trust with the money. Yeah. You can trust with things and appointments. And you unwind. Then you wake up, take up, go. You need a person you can trust like that. Yes. I found it almost impossible to delegate some things. The passwords to your bank. Man, some things. You need an insider person you can fully trust. They can get this information there, send it over there, and do this. And so if there is a lot of secrecy between couples, I can't touch your phone, a lot of things won't move. A lot of things won't move. Teamwork requires complete transparency. But many people do not marry the teamwork in view. So what happens then? How to avoid the trap of falling into long distance so that we have been married 10 years, but we have been together only 2. You know, only married, we are together, but a job took them away and they have never wanted, they have never managed to come back. You see, you can see a person who is not concerned of coming back. And as I've told you, some people choose the long distance themselves because they don't want the closeness, companionship of marriage. They want the social image. But the dangerous people to watch out are those who deceive you as if they're getting you into marriage, only to realize they're getting you to an empty shell. A name that you're married, but you're actually alone because they go far away and hide there. They use the job as an excuse. And they are not putting the effort to come back. And you can see they wanted to set up a different life there, to cheat there, philander there, do that. You see these men who are campaigning for polygamy. And I was telling them, why are you fooling us? Stop using the word polygamy. You are fooling yourself because we can see it's a cover you're using to sleep with all women without responsibility. Today's modern society has no polygamy. No, there's no such thing. No such thing. It's a guy who can't control his sexual urges and you want to sleep with all women. And when you have 2, none can hold you accountable. You can sleep with 20. Yes. When it's 1, you'll be held accountable. So when you make them 2, it's divide and rule. Yeah. So you go where you want. And I was telling them, many people use distance to cover all many will not use the word polygamy, but they believe in it, so they practice it quietly because they married you in a monogamous arrangement, but out there, they create a space away to live their life, another life, cheating, doing things, and having. Many of our parents are not officially polygamous, but they had another family elsewhere. They don't express it, but they believe it in their life. Guiding belief, guiding philosophy. The philosophy, men are naturally. And you hear some women trying to say, you better accept it, darling. You know, men will always be. I'm saying, just say you have failed in your relationship. You've always met people who don't think you're enough. So stop generalizing to all of us. It is you who has been unfortunate. Just ask for mercy and for guidance. Do not involve us. Stop generalizing. Saying the sooner you accept it. You're not a man yourself. How many men did you sample? You know, some people's research is very questionable. Man. What was your sample size? That was Willie Kinyash. What was your sample size? Yes. You know, in science, we say reasonable sample. If men in Kenya are 20 million, by the time you say all men are this way, you need to show us a sample that justifies that conclusion. You just dated 2, and they cheated you all of it. Now you want to say the 20 million out of 2. You can show us your questionnaire, your method of analysis. It's just say, I felt like. If you say I felt like, now that's your opinion, that's your experience, and we are not trying to generalize it. So we are saying, Willie, the thing here is, if you do not put the following safeguards, you fall into the hands of people who marry you honestly when they are not made up their minds to stick with you alone. But because if they stay close, you will see the cheating. they will look for a way to go work in Somalia. They will look for a way to go work in Mombasa, some place. And because you are not in their career, you can't tell what's going on there, and they can actually get the transfer themselves. They can flip the other person to go to Nakuru, far away. And you will not be able to tell where they are. It will look honest and sincere. And you'll be left alone. And they'll make it, that lady who sang Mapenzi ya Simu Sitaweza. It will be phone love. It's just virtual. And this time they're here, this time they're not here. And every time you try to visit, they may clean up because you're just visiting and they know you're coming.
And you're coming for one weekend.
You know,
then you go back.
You know,
yes.
People may put a lot of effort to hide. The first rule, how to safeguard, is to make sure there is express agreement that we are marrying to live together. That is our policy. And should anything, job, situations, try to separate, we shall always work together towards getting back together. So that if they try to deviate, you refer back to that agreement. Are we together? Verbal agreements are very important. We don't always write. But we need a meeting of minds. What kind of union? What is the context of what you're looking for? If you leave it silent, they can change later. And you find yourself fighting a losing battle. And the world will not understand you. It's about job. Do you want us to just sit down? Just job. You should ask what is there. It should come up somewhere. In those meetings when you're considering people, feel free, Kinyash, to always bring up topic from nowhere. What do you think about these marriages where I know friends or somebody's in Kitui and others in Naivasha? They're meeting after 3 weeks. What is your opinion about that? Sometimes I find it funny. They say, but you see, it is job. It is better to have job than you hear that their opinion is being that way.
Yes.
I say, in this economy, you need, if when that situation comes, that's what it will become. You can just express you and say, I've always thought we should first of all value our companionship even more than the job. And if one of us, the job is better, the other one can come closer, then try to look for their own way to get a job around each other. And for me, has always been, we should not go a month and another one, and time is going and we are apart. Because when we are apart, we are actually apart. Mentally, emotionally, sexually. We may talk on phone, but some things can't be sent by Bluetooth. Some energies are only there physically. Thinking, connection, and all that. If you are going away to study, that's only a study, and we have already weighed ourselves and balanced things. If you are going for, you are being seconded to another country for good benefit for us, we are going to earn well, but you're going away for 6 months and be coming after 2 months, that's something we can discuss. You start by making a meeting of minds before the onset. Number 2, you make a commitment to always have this person in your space. Let me explain this. Some people marry when they are not willing to have somebody in their space every day. There are people who are very schizoid, so to speak, have these tendencies of not wanting somebody in their life. They feel intruded. For some reason, some people have been violated emotionally. Some people have been so abandoned that intimacy feels strange. Closeness feels threatening. There are people who have never healed to a degree that they can have somebody in their life and merge their life. And we're not talking about violating privacy and not having that personal space. We are saying having somebody in your mind, in your energy, in your space, in your life, in one union, in a contract, in day-to-day life. Some people don't have that capacity. And you may fall in love with them and they may fall in love with you. Are we together? Many times the people who you end up feeling like you want, feeling like you love them, and you feel like you have won, they have fallen for you as well. They don't have the emotional makeup for a union. They don't have the ability to embrace and be with you every day. And they will avoid. Ask yourself, are you able to come home to the same person? For a healthy person, we even long to meet. We miss each other. We long to meet, to catch up how the day was, to do life, to jog, play, relax, talk stories. A normal person will be looking forward to their partner to catch up on the day. to help you be relieved, feel better, reorganize your life and just relax. Sometimes just not even talking. It's not even a lot of activity. Relaxing in the same space is enough. It's enough. Those knowing you have somebody.
Yeah.
That emotional support. Some people fear darkness. And when you're not there, she tells you she locked all the doors,
Yes.
she left the light on to make sure she can see everything. For some of them, it's just the emotional of having somebody in the house.
And if you're not in the same bed, but there is somebody
just
in this house,
happy-
I'm not alone.
Happy that they don't have not to watch out. Bolt all the doors. That space of being together is both psychological and emotional. And some people don't have that. Be very careful. You want to discuss that. You want to prepare for it and discuss for that. So some people, distance is avoiding. It's almost a knee-jerk reaction against closeness. It's a knee-jerk reaction against coming too close to each other. It's a knee-jerk reaction against being intimate, being seen, vulnerable, opening up, discussing, confessing, admitting. That space of having somebody takes emotional health, takes emotional energy. And because they don't know, because they have not reached that point where they can balance and weigh and just, when you live together, you learn how to give each other those short breaks you need. Though sometimes you realize the person wants to take a nap, you leave them alone to nap. They are working on something, let them. There are times you're joking, sometimes you're busy in each other's, you're in the same space, but you're busy. That rhythm, you develop it with the time now. But you needed the preparedness to have person in your life. The last thing, how to avoid the trap of saying you've been married 20 years and only close for 2 years. You have children, but have you seen those people who are married and you never see the partner? You never see the partner. And you've been neighbors for years.
Yes.
But you never see the partner.
And you know they are married.
Yes. It's them who goes to visit. And they come back.
Yeah.
You work in the same place, you know they are married, you see them doing life, they have children, but they are alone. If they need anything fixed, they get somebody.
So you're married, but you're single.
So the third way to avoid that trap is to have bare minimums. Because sometimes people change on you. Define marriage in a manner that is clear. And say, for me, when people can't be able to live in the same space, that's not marriage. For me, marriage, we are journeying through life together. And if we are having to make adjustments, you can't go signing contracts that are taking you to Arabia without me. You can't go to agree on things that will take you away without considering my opinion and my input and my mindset on it. Really, the following are some of the things that have caused people. You marry, and then through the seasons of life, there's a time for friction. The time you're trying to adjust and know each other. When the time of friction comes, they think now they can't stand being close to you. So they disappear. They transfer to far away. So they're coming home very late and leaving very early, or they're staying there, coming only weekend. And this was not consensus. This was not agreed on. This was not discussed. It is something they just came up with for their own comfort. I would rather be away. This is still disturbing. Let us separate. We see whether we'll be together again. You should stay and plow through and chisel each other. One of the shows we said, sometimes you're staying together because you also need chiseling. You also need refining. Some of the chiseling you need is your habits.
Yeah.
You harmonize your habits about times for sleeping, time for bed, hygiene levels, habits of handling food, habits of talking, how you behave, your mannerisms. If irritation coming around that, it's a time of adjustment. When you hear bottles of soda making noise, the crate is on the move.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're on the move, there are those inevitable. Does not mean they're breaking each other. It's not a crash. It's just a shake. And that shake is usually a proof we are on the move. Many times, if you do not have a definition of marriage, that means, for me, I want to be able to talk to you anytime. I want to be able to talk. We meet at the end of the day. Remember, when you meet physically, the conversations are very different than if it was just video call or phone. Because we see the energy in the room. We see what is going on. We comment on things. We feel. And If you wanted to raise children seeing their mother there with you, and she wanted NGO jobs, she wanted to travel the world with UN, with African Union, something. You want to ask them what they see marriages. And if it's all about having a similar home and getting children, coming home to the same place where your shoes are, where your clothes are. If for them it's all about supporting each other in projects, ask them what about emotional day-to-day connectedness physically? Is that essential for you in marriage? Say, no, for me it's not a must. My parents were never really living in the same place and I saw that it's workable. Tell them, oh, for me, imagine, we're not saying people cannot adjust. People can buy to your philosophy and say, you guess what? I agree with you. It would have been better if we are together. It would have been better if you reach an agreement that says, moving on, this is our direction. And really, let me finish by telling you that don't drop your leadership. We are partners, but there's a leader. As a man, take leadership in the union. Set your vision. Sell your vision clearly. Don't leave these things quiet. Because maybe she did not want that. You wanted it, but did you express it? It says to write down the vision and make it clear. Clarify your vision. Let somebody know where you're going.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Most welcome.
We are delighted. How do you define marriage? Because it all starts there. And as we talk about this issue of long distance relationships or marriage, it is important to note that you can delegate all duties to somebody else, but you cannot delegate your spouse to someone else. Let that stick in your mind. And so thank you so much for joining us. And this is Benjamin Zulu Show. My name is Willie Kinyai.